Okay, now I got the access. I think now I can share. 1 second. Let me share the slide. Is the slide on? Yes. Is the slide on to, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here we have systems approach. You can see systems approach is based on three. One is input, process, and outcomes. Now, what is input? What is processes and outcomes? See, input is something which comes from the various levels in the organization. And these levels, just now you understood, there are three levels. One being individual level, group level, and organizational level. Under individual level, I just explained there can be values, personality, and diversity of independent persons. Then we have group level. In group level, we have various structures which comprises in an organization, roles based on which their powers are being given to them, the team responsibilities, etc. So these are the various inputs. And organizational level, you see the whole organizational structure and the culture which is being followed at the organizational level. Followed by you have processes. Now, each stage it processes, like individual level, if you see, yes, emotions and moods are the something, motivations, perceptions, and decision making is something which has been processed at an individual level. The outcome of the same will be the various stress levels which they carry at the end of the day when a task is given to a person. Performance can be evaluated based on which we can judge how better the performance is or what are the pitfalls in performing such performance. Citizenship behavior, withdrawal behavior. So all this are various outcomes based on which we can understand the individual behavior. Likewise is group level, under which they try to process the various politics, powers, conflicts, leaderships, communications, etc. Then followed by the outcomes are based on the group functions, how the group functions and how the group is being cohesive. In the same manner, how individual and the group levels are inputs and processed and outputs are given, same manner organizational level also, human resource management, change practices are given. Then human organizational level, productivity and survive, how to survive, etc. is productivity, what should be the target for the coming features to be competitive enough. So such based upon three elements, input, processes and outcomes. Further, it is concentrated on individual level, group level and organization level. Based on these three subdivisions, input, process and outcomes of any organizational model can be understood. Okay. Now, if you look at this in this unit, you have been learning about since last week, the various scientific managements, Hawthorne effects, cognitive approach you have learned, the theory X and Y we've discussed today's class, and OB model we discussed, and the differences also we discussed. So in this second unit, try to focus on learning Hawthorne's experiment, the cognitive, behavioral, and social learning theory. Besides system approach and organizational behavior, these are the very important aspects in this unit. Okay. Yes. All right. Moving on to the next block. That is individual behavior. So just now we've understood now an organization can be focused on three levels. These are all independent variables. And among these are, first one is individual behavior. Now, in this individual behavior, you can see first attribute is personality, perception, learning, attitudes and values, and motivational theories. All these are the various individual behavior on which we will be exploring the subject. Okay. Now, personality. What is personality? What is personality? Yes. Anyone? What is personality?
It's a individual behavior according to the situations when who performs the tasks and activities.
Ah, very good, very good. See, personality is your own attitude. It is not influenced by anything yet. Personality is something which you own, and this is something which is quite dynamic and it is very multifaceted. So, given a situation, you act in a different way. Given a same situation in another, atmosphere or ambience changes, you perform it differently. So, hence, personality is a dynamic, ubiquitous, and multifaceted. Okay, personality is got multi-face emotions. This may be good sometimes, may be bad. Sometimes people consider it to be ugly also. Okay, so this is about personality. Now, each individually, how much ever closely you are connected to or you live together, etc., personality differs from person to person, individual to individual. How much ever closely you are connected, maybe even siblings also, if you consider, there can be different. In every individual possesses different attitudes and style. So, given this scenario of being dynamic, definitions are given by very popular, people, out of which here you can see the personality is by the root words. It is said that personality is impression we make on others. Personality is an impression. It is like a mask which we present to the world. In everyday, daily basis, in a day-to-day basis, we might experience, we have many such masks that we wear on daily basis, which makes our impressions, different from one situation to another situation. And based on that, the feedback can be collected. When you are at home, you are different. When you are at workplace, you are different. When you are at your profession, you are different. When you are on a other task on your personal, obligations, you have a different feeling. So each one has got a different personality. And just forget about, people working in group, teams, etc. Person it himself or herself carries different face mask which they wear in different context. Okay, so it is therefore defined as a sum of physical, mental, social qualities in integrated manner. Okay, what it is? Physical, mental, and social qualities in integrated manner. Okay, next, there are many, definitions which are given. K. Young, Alport, Ogburn, Pavin. You can pick up one which is comfortable with you and try to explore on those lines. Nature and personality, again here implies the social character, the psychology that a person holds. Now, this is basically acquired by biological endowments. Now, this is something which comes to you hereditary. Okay, and this provides a base for the development and social growth of environment within which a person, develops himself or herself. So, if you look at the determinants or the factors which have impact on the personality, there are two. Number one, heredity, and number two is environment. Now, if you look at hereditary, it is something which is possessed from the family, and environment is something which you choose to be in. You choose to be in an environment which is so joyful, or you choose to be in an environment which is pressureful, or you choose to be relaxed. Which one you choose? Okay, depending on that environment, your personality will change. And there are certain hereditary factors which, though you want, but you will not be able to change it. Okay, but environment, yes, you can change. If you are not comfortable, you can swap, you can skip, you can swap, you can change, you can move on, right? But hereditary factors, you cannot. Okay, now look at this environmental factors. There is a culture, yes. Sometimes it is culture where we find a lot of, confusion based on the biological organisms, the carriers of cultures, we call transformations which are happening. And, sometimes we happen to move from one culture to another culture. Like maybe you are born and brought up in Delhi and you are supposed to move in Tamil Nadu, or say US, or say Australia and Canada. When you move from one place to another, which you are comfortable with, and to a new culture, then adoption of that culture becomes a challenge. And so it is a determinant of personality. In the process of adoption, in the process of understanding, you happen to, change a lot. So that is something which changes the person. And then family, family background, small groups, immediate family, extended family, all these plays a very important role in the development of personality, development of an individual. Okay, family is a very, a strong backbone of socio-economic background of any family is considered to be the base for the personality. Likewise, we have group membership. Now, how you hold your group members in the form of friends, relationships, etc. Based on those lines also, your personality will have some effects. And then we have life experiences. Yes, when you are in a teenage, and then when you move to next age of 20 to 25, thereby you move on to working environment from 25 to 30 thereafter. So life teaches you lot many lessons at every stage, and all these lessons which you have been learning over every stage will again have impact on your personality. And there are chances that your personality may change. Okay, the way you are, you might change just because of the various experiences that you are gaining in your lifetime. Okay. And so these are the traits of the personalities, factors, or say determinants which causes a person or impacts the change in the personality of an individual. Then we have certain theories which are already which are given by to be a classical approach, wherein it happens to suggest that it is on a lasting characteristics portrays an individual's behavior, or a person's characteristics such as loneliness, shyness, aggressiveness, unassumingness, laziness, ambition, seriousness. All these again form the base for personality. And these again happens to impact the personality of a individual. But whatever, how many are there to describe the personality of a person is endless. There are many traits. It was virtually impossible to describe how a people are. Therefore, the researchers on these subjects have made several trials on reducing these numbers of traits. And finally, they concluded that there are around 171 qualities in a human being which are common. Okay, 171 distinct qualities in human beings. And these, qualities describes the personality. And most of this, not all, but most of this would be a person's, personality would be there in an individual attitude adopted by a person. Then we have followed by, further researches happened on these subjects. And they said 171 is a big number, which is again a very difficult job to understand and focus on. So finally, the researchers happened to study on these 171 traits which were proposed, and thereby they found that all these can be summed up, okay, under 16 personality factors, which he called, or the researchers called, that the source for primary traits, that is characteristics. And the 16 characteristics which are found consistent, stable, dependent for describing human behavior in quite a number of contexts and situations. They are the factors such as sources of behaviors explaining predictive nature of individual behavior in various situations. And these 16 personality factors are, you can see they have been given under a table: reserved versus outgoing, less intelligent, more intelligent, affected by feelings, submissive, seriousness, timid, experienced, tough, trusting, practical, forthright, self-assured, conservative, group-dependent, uncontrolled, and relaxed. These are the 16 PFs which have been concluded by this. Then we have behavioral theories. Again, behavioral theories are been developed by the behaviorisms, and this movement was led by John B. Watson. He was a scholar and a behaviorist study. He was an observable behavior. He used to observe the behavior of the people, and based on his observation, he came up in developing a theory, which is called behavioral theory. And this theory is based on three such behaviors he defined. One being Skinner, Bandura, and Walter Michael. What is Skinner? Now, according to this researcher, the people have consistent behavioral pattern. That means they don't change immediately. Their behavior is consistent. Whatever given a situation, they behave consistently in the same manner as they behave, though there is a change. Okay, for example, it is given a student in his school days who is not regular in his academic requirements, like attending class, assignments, participating activities, has not received severe reprimands. However, as he grows, joins corporation, he received warnings and also punishments for his misconduct, learns to shape himself with more discipline. Now, you can see in this example, the student, though from being a student till he's growing up, he has a consistent behavior. There is no change in his personality. Okay, then we have Bandura, Albert Bandura, from his long-term research on how people learn to develop their personality, pointed out that they learn to respond in particular ways by watching other people who are called models. So role model learning, we call it as, wherein the concentration is here on people around you. You find a role model and you adopt that. And you adopt that to the extent possible and try to act like them, behave like them. So such behaviors are also termed as social cognitive learning. Social cognitive learning. Then we have Walter Michael. Like Bandura's only, Walter is a behavioral theorist. Again, he also described the situation where there was a strong influence on people's behavior and responses. And this behavior which he proposed had a considerable debate and confusion also about the traits of the personality which he is trying to understand. Michael did not want to give up the idea, and he sticked to what he wanted to conclude. And thereby, he believed that scholars should pay attention to both situation and personal characteristics, which might influence a personality. So, Michael had a version that it should not be focused only on one personal characteristics, rather there should be given situation. So in any given situation, what will be the change? Depending on the situation, the person may differ in his attitude. So based on that also, there can be change in the behaviors. So he tries to focus on both personal characteristics and also situational characteristics. Then we have currently, this behavioral theories. Then we have humanistic theory. Humanistic theory is proposed by a psychologist in the year 50, and the school of psychology called humanism. The psychologists try to people lives as those people would see them. They tend to have an optimistic perspective on human nature. They focus on the ability of human beings to think consciously and rationally to control their biological urges. So Abraham Maslow, Paul Rogers, these all popular people have become humanistic, supports humanistic theories, and they happen to write a lot of theories on these lines subjects. Maslow's theory also, which is like a ladder, like step-by-step, 5 steps approach, where self-actualization is the last stage, which motivates a person from, the basic need to self-actualization probably will be learning in the coming classes, okay? In detail about Abraham Maslow's, Carl's theories, etc. Then we have Indian approach personality. Now, why Indian approach personality? Based upon the culture here, the people will react. Okay, the people will respond. And the kind of, the kind of psychology which is carried here is physical, mental, intellectual, social, moral, and spiritual. So all these are the traits which are carried on, and they are to play a big role in the personality of a person. Then we have big 5 personality factors. Please make a note. These are the very important 5 personality factors. Number 1 being extraversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, and openness to experience. Now, in this, if you look at agreeableness, is a person's trait wherein he is ready to perform, agree whatever is being assigned to him. He is very flexible, very comfortable. He or she is very comfortable. Emotional stability, and emotional stability is a personality trait where a person tries to control his emotions and mask differently so as to perform accordingly in a given situation. So that is about emotional stability, where the emotions are in control. And then we have openness to experience. Yes, openness to experience is a dynamic personality which is ready to accept any change without any problem. They are ready to accept a change, further contributed positively. And we have extraversion. What is extraversion? Now here, it is one's comfort level and how the relationship with the others. They are extroverts. They are gracious, assertive, sociable. Wherever introverts tend to inward looking, reserved, timid, and quiet. So here extraversion is they are very assertive and they are very sociable. They are in their comfort zone with their own relationship. So big 5 personality factors are extraversions, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, and openness. And then we have MBTI, which stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Now, in this, there are 4 elements. That is, one being extraversion and introvert. Introvert is very conscious, extrovert is not so. So the way how you focus depends on that your attention is grabbed. Sensing or intuition, how you sense, takes in information. Thinking or feeling, the way one make decision. Judging or perceiving, the way one deals with the world, how you judge and how you perceive. However, these are all the various combinations of personalities which emerges and how to be understood. We have few more visionaries, organizers, and conceptualizers. Visionaries are those people or a set of a person who are very much determined with the desired goals, and often they are very critical, independent, and determined. Often they are stubborn also. Whereas organizers, they are very much run activities. They're very realistic, practical, and logical in their behavior. Conceptualizers are those which are attracted towards ideas. They have a challenging problem, though they neglect the routine assignments, but yet they are effective and ingenious. Okay. And now, besides the theories which you have learned now, there are a few more. That is one being locus of control, theory of Maxwellism, self-esteem, self-monitoring, risk-taking, type A and type B. All these theories tries to make us understand the various traits of persons, how they behave. Now, locus of control is wherein the personality has a control on both the internal and external factors, and believes that he can control their future with the externalist. So such, personalities can be grouped as locus of control. Then we have theory of Maxwellianism, and this is, wherein a stronger tendency of people to attract them. And it is found that almost all the managers, have opinion on job demand and to develop on personality. Then we have self-esteem. Self-esteem is they do not, have any kind of satisfaction. Whatever they perform, they happen to perform it. And yes, there are more challenging assignments. They are on their growth path, etc. Risk takers are the one who is a very dynamic, risk-loving, and risk aversion, who loves risk and very active in performing the task where there is a risk, say such as decision making, execution of decisions, etc. Type A individual and type B individuals are classified, and the type A people will have more achievements as compared to type B, who are, who maintain expected level of performance just to ensure that survival in the organization. Whereas type A is more dynamic and more challenging. Okay. So finally, if you look at the outcomes of personality, here, managers may emerge with unique styles, resolve conflicts, they communicate more effectively. So once you understand a person, as a manager, you will be able to connect them properly and you can successfully motivate them, whichever level they are, organization, individual, or level 2, group level. Okay. So it is better to understand the people in order to improve the skills and retain the good staff. Okay. So this is about personality. Any question, anyone? We learned about what is personality, characteristics, traits, theories on personality, and the outcomes. Next, we have perception. Yeah, this is organizational behavior class. Someone is chatting. Sorry, I checked just now. Anyways, yeah, perception is how you perceive things, how you understand things, how you take the given situation is all about perception. So the main given definition on perceptions are many authors have given, and Robbins' definition is most popular. You can focus on, followed by Ajit Singh and Joseph Reeves also. These are the very popular definitions. And as you can see, Robbins' definition on perception involves, it says that perception is a process of understanding individual, how they organize, how they interpret, how the sensory impressions in order to give a meaningful meaning to the environment. Okay. And under perceptions, we have models. Model of perception. This is given in the year 87 by Sekarni. Okay. Now this model which is given here, presented here, it's like a structure which holds, characteristics of a person, mechanism, that is the process, how it works, and the final outcome based upon the characteristics and based upon the characteristics of the perceiver. And finally, the perceptual output or responses recorded in the form of attitudes, opinions, feelings, values. Taking and grouping all this will form a behavior, which is an outcome. Okay, input is a stimuli which you happens to receive in the form of objects, events, and people. This get processed with selection, interpretation, and organizer based upon individuals' perception, how you select, how you understand, and how you present it. Finally, your attitude, your opinion, your feelings, your values, all together, comes in the form of a behavior of so and so person. And all these are again affected by needs and motives, self-concept, past experiences, psychological or emotional state, and other personality aspects. And characteristics are driven by physical, social, organizational, timing, and roles. This we just learned under the Robin model, organizational structure, etc. And perception of the characteristics or how you receive it again depends upon the size, intensity, repetition, novelty, how new it is, status, appearance, contrast, and motion. So taking into all these aspects, all this put together forms a behavior of a person. Now, factors which influence the perceptual inputs: size, status, intensity, appearance, repetition, contrast, novelty. How, see, one I will explain here, factors which influence novelty. Suppose if you are shown again and again the same picture, without having any novel new thing into it, you get bored of. And there comes a time where you end up listening. Okay. So if there is any new thing, which is being shown, you will immediately catch the attention and you wanted to hear, you wanted to understand. So novelty is one of the influencer for perception. Otherwise, you end up this size also, status also, intensity, how it is appearing, comfortable, repetitions. So if I teach you today, influencing factors influencing person, tomorrow also if I'm teaching you the same, would you attend? No. So this is your personality. You don't want to see repetitions into it. Again, in the next class, if someone is teaching in the context of marketing, in some other subject, if the same topic is coming, you may feel bored. You may not be readily listening if the same is shown to you again and again. So size, status, intensity, appearance, how it is been presenting, repetitions, contrast, color contrast, novelty, all these, plays a very important role. Now you may be wondering why contrast has come here. Yes, for example, TV when you are watching, cricket match when you are watching, or a movie when you are watching with your family, how different the color contrast and preferences would be. Okay, so these are the various, tribes, inputs, which have an impact on the behavior of the person. Okay. Of course, unknowingly, you happen to learn a lot. So there are certain principles of perception, like figure and ground, grouping, simplifying, and closure. Or yes, you can work on this in order to improve the perception. That means how you understand the stimuli. That means when you are receiving certain signals and certain processes happening within you, and finally an outcome is generated out of you, which is reflected to the people outside, external people, had happened to you know impact happen to have in various various at various level they need to be checked for, and those lines where you can focus on are the grouping, simplifying, and closure. How you group them, how you simplify the understanding, and then how you finally present the outcome. Most of the time, individuals find errors in perceptions are again the stereotyping. That is when you start judging without listening. Halo effect is a smart looking of uh, uh, it is like you thought something bigger, but you found to be very small, or it is not as per your imagination. So there is a gap, and that vacuum which is between your imagination and the reality is halo effect. Selective perceptions, attributes, cultural influences. Yes, from where you come, there is definitely an influence of that culture with what you expect others people. Distortions, projections, self-fulfilling prophecy. All these are the various mistakes which happens to influence the perception of a symbol. How do you improve all these errors? Okay, there are places to improve wherein you can accurate, emphasize attitude, positive communications, and comparing perception. With all these possible inputs, you can try to improve your perceptions, improve your perception, thereby resulting in a better personality. Okay. And so in this chapter, you can see the various effects, the very important one being factors influencing the perceptual input, throughput, and output. This is a very important long, concept which you all can focus on. Besides, there are various terms and questions which are also given. There is a case study also which I would recommend to all of you to read. And if you are well versed after listening to this lecture and you're able to do this case study, that means the outcome is good. So with this, I now end my session here, the organizational behavior class, and I will end up the session here and see you all tomorrow in the next session. Until then, happy learning to all of you and a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.